Hey Factory family, happy anniversary. If you've been around here for even a short while, then you know that we exist to make disciples and serve others the other 6 days. We are a multiracial church, but a culture of one. We are a community, not a corporation. Simply put, we are Factory family.
We've made many new friendships that have made our lives richer and better over the last 5 years. We've seen people meet each other and fall in love and get married at the factory. We've celebrated the births of lots and lots of your children, and we have had so much fun loving on your kids and watching them grow. We've been able to watch some of our teens grow up and marry and start careers and families of their own, and we have seen your families come together and serve others in amazing and generous ways. Some of our best and most rewarding memories of the last 5 years has been the joy of seeing people enter into a new relationship with Christ and then celebrate with them as they publicly proclaim their faith through baptism. Baptism Sundays are our favorites, and we love hearing your testimonies of life change and healing through a relationship with Jesus. But like with any family, we have walked through some of life's biggest challenges and hurts together as well. We've prayed together and stood with each other through marriages that have been on shaky ground, through serious illnesses, and we've even mourned together as some of our factory family has been called home. As a young church committed to racial and socioeconomic diversity, we knew that our call wouldn't always be easy. We knew that we would have to work through some of the tougher cultural issues of the day, and that being in community with others who don't necessarily look alike or vote alike can sometimes be uncomfortable. But we also knew that we wanted to be a church that brings about positive culture change. We wanted to be a church that would look like heaven, where there is no black church or white church, just the church, the bride of Christ. In the summer of 2015, Dill and Ruth walked into a Bible study at an AME church in South Carolina and killed 9 African Americans who were simply studying their Bibles. Then in the summer of 2016, every social media feed exploded with the images of Alton Sterling and Philando Castile being shot and killed at the hands of police officers. Just a few days later, 5 police officers in Dallas, Texas were killed in retaliation for the deaths of Sterling and Castile. We were in the middle of a divisive election season, and at times it felt as though the nation was being torn apart on racial and political lines. At times, it felt as though our church would be pulled apart along those same lines as well. But rather than ignoring the giant elephant in the room like many churches chose to do, Pastor Keith led us in a way that we, as disciples of Jesus, should always respond. We came together and we prayed. We cried out to God and repented for the sin of racism, and we asked Him for His mercy and to heal our land. We are a praying church, and that will never change. Then in August of 2017, after the contentious election season was finally behind us, we witnessed yet another sign that America still has a long way to go when it comes to racism and racial reconciliation. We watched white supremacists and neo-Nazis march in Charlottesville in yet another violent and bloody confrontation along racial lines. Once again, the anger, the hurt, and the division of the previous summer boiled over. In October of that same year, our series on race called You Don't See Color challenged us as believers on all ends of the racial and political spectrum. This series had been on the teaching calendar long before Charlottesville. We had no way of knowing that America would yet again be raw with anger and hatred and hurt at the time. But God did. And so Pastor Keith, though a bit nervous knowing that a series on race had the potential to damage or even destroy our church, was obedient in what he felt certain God was calling him to do: teach on race. Did some people get offended or angry and leave? Maybe a few. But in return, God has brought many more people who are committed to being grown and stretched and challenged, and who desire to walk this thing called community out, who desire to be a culture of one. It was truly one of the most defining moments in the life of our church, and what you see today is the fruit of that obedience. So today we celebrate and thank God for the community and family He's brought together here at the factory. We've laughed together, we've cried together, we've served together, we've grown and been challenged together.
We know it won't always be easy, but we know that everything we do for God's glory and His kingdom is always worth it. And we invite each and every one of you to join us. Happy anniversary, Factory family. Now bring on 2019.